Now at noon, News 5 investigates claims of retaliation and homophobia at Peterson Air Force Base. Senior Airman Branden Gutierrez was court-martialed for having unlawful sexual contact and failing to disclose his HIV status. He was found not guilty of one charge while the other was ultimately dismissed, but he wouldn't return to work for long. Shortly after his court-martial, Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Ross uncovered a commander's plans to discharge him. And Eric, even though the court case is over, he is still fighting to clear his name.
Clear his name and ultimately save the benefits he believes he earned, Ira. Our investigation found a commander was successfully able to discharge Gutierrez just a few months after the court case concluded. And because he was not honorably discharged, he lost access to certain benefits like his GI education bill. Was this discharge justified? We present the evidence and let you decide.
When I first found out that I got diagnosed, it was pretty tough.
Branden Gutierrez's life turned upside down when he found out he had the virus, but that was nothing compared to what came next.
I was accused of not disclosing my HIV status to someone.
Gutierrez says he met people through Grindr, a dating app for gay men. After having a sexual encounter with another airman, that airman filed a report alleging Gutierrez did not disclose his HIV status, something he denied, but that didn't stop him from being court-martialed for engaging in unlawful sexual contact and allegedly failing to inform his partners of his status. Yet on his public Grindr profile, that information is displayed for anyone to see. On December 6, 2017, the charge related to not disclosing his HIV status was dismissed, according to this document obtained by News 5 Investigates. As for the unlawful sexual contact charge, Gutierrez was found not guilty, but his life would not return to normal.
A month after that, in late January, my squadron commander issued me a letter of reprimand for the same exact thing that I was tried for in my court-martial, which didn't make sense to me as to why he was doing that.
In this administrative action letter, Lieutenant Colonel Joshua Shad continued to say Gutierrez violated military orders by failing to disclose his HIV status. That's the same charge that was dismissed 6 weeks prior.
During the court-martial, I proved, that I was upfront about my status since day one.
2 months after sending Gutierrez this letter of reprimand, the same commander issued another letter on March 5th, recommending Gutierrez be discharged, citing misconduct, and specifically pointing out Gutierrez's HIV status. When that March 5th discharge letter was issued, surely the Air Force knew they needed more evidence to kick someone out. So the Air Force dug up 3 other disciplinary issues that had already been resolved 3 years ago. In April 2015, Gutierrez received a counseling letter because he was caught sleeping instead of studying for an exam. In November 2015, he was reprimanded for not unlocking a building door on time at 6 in the morning. And in December 2015, Gutierrez was reprimanded for missing a physical fitness test. All were eventually used to discharge him from the Air Force.
I know people that have gotten DUIs and, they, of course, got Article 15s, but they were still able to finish their enlistment.
Something Gutierrez was not allowed to do.
Shortly after I got the discharge notification, I was really at a low point. I even had to go to a psych ward because I was feeling suicidal. And during that time in the psych ward, none of my chain of command or anybody really cared. And when I was released, their top priority was just to get me discharged as soon as possible. I served for that GI Bill. I feel like I deserve it. Right now, I don't have a job, and it's been really hard to find a job because of the characterization of discharge that I got.
Gutierrez says he wants to pursue a degree at Pikes Peak Community College, but can't without his GI Bill or a full-time job to help pay the costs. And although he feels the Air Force has turned its back on him, he says he wishes he was still there.
I miss the Air Force. I miss my job. I miss wearing my uniform every day. And sometimes when I'm actually home alone, I actually just put my uniform on just so I can wear it still.
He says today it's still hard to hold back tears, realizing the life he once had is now gone.
I still did my very best every day, did my job, and I did it with pride.
And it's important to note Gutierrez says he has not spread the HIV virus to any of his sexual partners. Meanwhile, the Air Force says although Gutierrez was not discharged through a court-martial, they were legally entitled to pursue a discharge administratively, which is exactly what happened in this case. A spokesperson said the letter of reprimand, combined with the other 3 administrative disciplinary issues from 3 years ago, prompted the commander to recommend him for discharge. We've posted a copy of their entire statement on our website, KOAA.com. You'll find this story under the News 5 Investigates tab. Ira?